This episode of Marijuana Today Daily is brought to you by our friends over at Curaleaf, one of the nation's top multi-state cannabis operators with 48 local dispensaries, 14 cultivation sites, and 13 processing facilities, serving up more than 150,000 registered medical marijuana patients. Check them out over at curaleaf.com, spelled Curaleaf. Good morning, Marijuana Nation. It's Thursday, September 12th, 2019, and you're tuned in to episode 796 of Marijuana Today Daily. I'm your host, Shay Gunther, and I'll be walking you through today's marijuana news and headlines. As always, we have a full and busy day of cannabis news in our hands, so let's jump right into it. We have a deja vu-inducing headline today as we have news that Colorado-based marijuana company Medicine Man is acquiring yet another marijuana dispensary chain located in Colorado. This time picking up the Strawberry Fields dispensaries of Colorado Springs in a cash and stock deal worth just over $30 million. This is one of a handful of recent deals of this size and scope for Medicine Man, and one of 10 on the year, giving them now 34 dispensaries in all. I would say that Medicine Man is certainly a company that should now be on your national radar, if it wasn't already. You can find out more details on this one if you need them over at Marijuana Business Daily. Cannabis listing website Weedmaps has released some details for its recently announced plans to stop listing illicit marijuana businesses. The company said it now requires its advertisers and listed companies to provide a valid state registration number, and that it's begun to contact existing advertisers of the need to update their profile with that information. In an email to Marijuana Business Daily, a company spokesperson said that Weedmaps would be delisting advertisers who don't have valid registration numbers by the end of the year. One good indicator of why Weedmaps is dragging its heels so much on this is a recent audit of the California marijuana business landscape that found that there are 3 times as many illicit dispensaries in the state as there are licensed. So Weedmaps is likely making a lot of money from illicit shops. Following the release of the new update from Weedmaps, a California cannabis trade group, the United Cannabis Business Association, or UCBA, blasted the company for continuing to work with unlicensed retailers, calling the state to levy fines and saying it, quote, represents a clear public health threat, unquote. Our final top story today is the latest financial results just released by Canadian marijuana provider Aurora Cannabis, one of the nation's top producers, which just reported that it pulled in net revenues for the fourth quarter of 2019 of $94.6 million Canadian, up 61% from the previous quarter. The company saw an adjusted EBITDA loss of just under $12 million Canadian, compared to losing $36.6 million in Q3. Aurora's full 2019 was seemingly solid as it generated net revenues of $247.9 million on the year, a 350% leap from last year. New Cannabis Ventures has more here. Those are our top stories for today. It's time for Marijuana Today Daily Headlines Blitz. Before we blitz out in headlines, let's quickly thank our sponsor, Curaleaf, one of the nation's top multi-state cannabis operators with 48 local dispensaries, 14 cultivation sites, and 13 processing facilities, serving up more than 150,000 registered medical marijuana patients. Curaleaf wants you to live life well, which is why the good folks over there put so much time and energy into making sure their operations are built around world-class quality, top-notch customer education, and a deep compassion for the people who use their products. They believe that cannabis is powerful and can improve people's lives. Pop over to curaleaf.com today to find the closest Curaleaf shop to you, because there's no better way to experience the Curaleaf difference than by making a visit yourself. You can also, while you're over at curaleaf.com, read about their support for the Veterans Cannabis Project, which works to expand access to medical marijuana by military veteran patients. You can check out that project in particular over at vetscp.org. That's vetscp.org. Big thanks to everyone at Curaleaf for helping support today's show. All right, time for the Blitz. Jeff Smith over Marijuana Business Daily is a great longer-form look at Florida's medical marijuana industry, which is dominated by cannabis company Trulieve. which is grabbing nearly 1 out of every 2 medical marijuana sales in the state. Quick bit of disclosure here as our friend Andrew Livingston, a regular on our weekly show Marijuana Today and director of economics and research at industry law firm Vicente Cederberg, is widely quoted in this story, which does a fantastic job of laying out the relative positions of companies like Trulieve, Surterra, and our sponsor Curaleaf, which is also an active player in Florida. If knowing more about the Sunshine State would benefit you, then this is one you should dive into. As always, we have all the news we cover linked to on our website at mjtodaydaily.com. We have a disturbing bit of injustice playing out in Utah, where medical marijuana patient Emily Roberts is being kept from taking the medicine that gives her relief by a court order handed down by a juvenile court judge who has threatened to take her 2 young children from her should she fail a drug test. Ms. Roberts was in a serious car accident 20 years ago and still lives with pain from that event, which she's found relief from in the past by taking CBD. She was ordered to undergo regular drug testing after she failed a screening for THC in an unrelated separate case, which she thinks her CBD medicine may be to blame for, as she does not consume cannabis otherwise. Her next hearing on the matter is later this month. The U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration wants to increase the amount of marijuana grown for academic research from 5,400 pounds this year to just over 7,000 pounds next year, which is almost 3 times as much as was grown last year. The DEA's research marijuana is grown at the University of Mississippi and is known for its poor quality and the fact that it's the only cannabis that's legal to conduct research on. With the first of a pair of back-to-back headlines, Mr. Kyle Yeager over at Marijuana Moments picked up on news out of California that 2 city councilors from Berkeley and Emeryville have purchased legal marijuana from a dispensary using cryptocurrency. Berkeley Councilmember Ben Bartlett and Diane Martinez of Emeryville claim their visit was the first time that elected officials shopped for cannabis with digital cryptocurrency of a type that is tied to the US dollar, and that they did so to demonstrate the viability of the payment program. Kyle's second story today is the reactions of 2 marijuana industry trade groups to the ongoing vaporizer health scare that's now being blamed for 6 deaths and more than 450 hospital visits nationwide. In response, the National Cannabis Industry Association just released a statement urging national lawmakers to legalize marijuana so that it can actually be regulated. The Cannabis Trade Federation said something similar in its released statement, adding that it was in support of strict rules and regulations to protect consumer safety. As a response to the national vape scare, Amazon is removing items from its virtual shelves that can be used to produce counterfeit vape cartridges. Earlier this week, Minnesota Public Radio asked Amazon about bulk empty vaporizer cartridges available for sale on the site, prompting the retail giant to start removing said items by the next day. We end the day on a good note as we have news out of Idaho that an Oregon man arrested at the beginning of the year by Idaho State Police for transporting thousands of pounds of industrial hemp through the state will not be going to jail. Dennis Palarmachuk was arrested in January for transporting 6,700 pounds of industrial hemp, which Idaho prosecutors initially charged as THC cannabis. Mr. Palarmachuk has been facing 5 years in prison, but thankfully his lawyers were able to work out a deal where he simply has to pay a small fine, though he does have a year of unsupervised probation, which is not very cool. It's better than 5 years in prison, but it's still an injustice. Those are the headlines and news for the day. I'll be back with you tomorrow morning with another information-packed episode of Marijuana Today Daily. But in the meantime, if you have any stories to share or feedback to give, zip us an email to headlines@mjtodaydaily.com. And while you're clicking around the interwebs, swing over to our website at mjtodaydaily.com to find links to all the news we cover. Thanks to our sponsor, Curaleaf, and to our awesome Patreon listeners for the support that makes this show possible. To join the illustrious ranks of the Patreon listeners yourself, swing over to our website at mjtodaydaily.com and click on that big blue button at the top of the page that says Become a Patron. I'm your host, Shay Gunther. Thanks for tuning in and starting your day with marijuana today.
One take, Shay. One take.